Good morning. I am Denise Teague, and I'm a new member of here at Center of Unity. Just became a member in the summer, and so I am glad and so thankful to be here and excited to share with you. I'm a licensed Unity teacher and excited to be here with you. So moving from gratitude this month, as we are so privileged and blessed as a community as well as a nation to have a whole month of Thanksgiving. Just to be that beautiful preparation as we move into the Christmas season. And so let's think about for a moment, what does the Christmas season actually represent to each of us? So we know that we are on this beautiful journey to Bethlehem. We are here to awaken our own divine spirit that is within us, that Jeff was talking about there at the beginning. As Jesus was born in a manger, so too is the Christ Spirit born within each of us and enlivened right there within us. So a couple of years ago, I had a kind of a new understanding of this. Linda Martella Whitsitt is a Unity author, and she had a book called, let's remind myself, This Life is Yours. And in that book, and in a talk that she gave that I was listening to, she talked about that we are 100% human and 100% divine. Phew, is what happened to me. It's like, I was kind of thinking that we were more like 95% human and 5% divine. You know, that was really kind of going on in my mind, because most of us, as we go through our days, you know we've got about 60,000 thoughts a day. And we get up in the morning and we prepare for our day, we brush our teeth, we drink our coffee, and we've done that over and over and over again. And those are the things, that pattern is where we are in our little humanness. And we continue to move through the day as we go off to work or do our routines or our habits, and then we come back home and we prepare, we have dinner and prepare for our night's rest. And during that whole time, how many new thoughts actually came up? You know, it's mostly the same old stuff over and over and over again. So 100% divine was like, how do we do that? So how do we begin to claim our divine being as we step into our journey to Bethlehem this month? So let's look at our Unity principles. They give us a big help right there. Number one, there is, and please feel free to say it with me, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Okay, so we got that one. I mean, we kind of. Number two, human beings have a spark of divinity within them. The Christ Spirit within. There it is. There's that spark. And you know, I kind of really had thought that little spark is like a little thing, right? You know, that was just my assumption, of course, as a human being. And instead, I started really looking at it. It ignites, is what a spark does. And it's a glimmer. Remember that word, glimmer, because we're going to come back to it in a little bit. So number three, is we are creators with God. Our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have the power to create our reality. The power. We are creators. And so in that power, we get to choose. We can do the same old thing day in, day out, or we can begin to embody this Christ spirit that is within us. And then number 4 helps us a lot. Prayer and meditation heightens the connection with the divine. So there you go. There's some practices there that we all know. And then finally, knowing these principles is not enough, but one must live actively these truths in their lives. So there's really putting the feet to the grindstone. Just believing in these things doesn't really get you to step into your divineness, right? But we've got to put some action into it. So how can I expand my consciousness to incorporate the divine? A third principle with realizing that we are creators is a huge part of that, because I get to make my own reality. Let me create. And there is where the touchstone begins to happen. So I'll come back to that in just a moment. Recently, I had an email that came through from a friend, Reverend Steve Bolin, who recently shared about his trip to Ireland. And let me just kind of read a little bit from his email, because it sparked within me my remembrance of Touchstones. He says, "More interesting than this, and measurably more mystical, was the experience we had in Dublin at St. Ardwan's Church. We were referred to their visitor center quite serendipitously by a stranger passing by as we were snapping photos in the area. As it turns out, services had been held there continuously for over 800 years. It was a place considered crucial to the medieval city." And he goes on and says, "It was there that we discovered a prominently displayed grave slab from the late 19th century. It was rumored to have a supernatural guardian, because despite this slab having been removed a number of times from the church, it has always returned to its natural place. Considered good luck to touch it, all 4 of us just did that and deeply felt the blessing associated with this extremely heavy, storied talisman." And as you can see, there's the church, and there's the slab. So take a few moments and imagine putting your hand on the slab as you breathe in and feel the density and the coolness of the cement and the stone and the connection to the sacred. All over the world, for centuries, pilgrims have made journeys to the sacred places on our earth to touch and to feel that sacred energy to something that is beyond just the physical. I would call it the connection to the divine. And lots of times we do this. You all probably might have considered putting like sacred altars in our homes. We see them in our spiritual communities. In Christianity, we have crosses, and during the Christmas season, we have creches. And all over the world, in all spiritual traditions, there are sacred altars in people's homes, sometimes simple, sometimes much more complex, but full of Buddhas and crystals and candles and incense, just to remind us that there is more to this life than just moving through our day in the same old way. So this story this email from Dublin, Ireland, reminded me of the use of touchstones in my own practice. How can we reach and touch to feel the divine essence in our lives, in imbuing power, imbuing sacredness, the spirit of the divine right here in my life now? So one of the practices that I learned, I read the book Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and it is a beautiful book, if you haven't read it, about practicing a beautiful practice with gratitude. And so in one of the practices, she has us take a beautiful stone and put it on our bedside so that as you come to bed at night and the lights go off, you pick up the stone and place it right here on the heart. And as you close your eyes, you just move through your day. How have I been blessed this day? The feel of the stone is there, the connection to the heart. And there's your connection to gratitude and that higher frequency, that beautiful connection as you fall off into sleep. I started the practice of touchstones several years ago. I lived in Austin, Texas for about 30 years, and we loved it there. We had lots of community, lots of friends, beautiful connection to lots of people around us. But we decided to move to Dallas-Fort Worth because we have an only son and his family live here. So off we go. Coming to this new place after 30 years, and I started realizing, okay, I'm kind of missing the old people, You know how we go. You're like, it's great for the first 6 months, and then you're like, kind of going back and forth, right? And so as I started going into work early in the morning, I came off the highway off of west of Fort Worth and coming into I-35 from the west into the east. It's not I-35, excuse me, onto I-30, and heading straight into the sun. And as I came around that corner, I looked out and there was this beautiful steeple, church steeple. And the sun was just sparking right through that steeple, just at the right time. There's my touchstone. I sat there looking at it, and I reminded myself, I'm a crier, just to let you know. And I thought, wow, I am where I need to be. I have been guided here. I know that even though I want to look back and go, it was so great there, it is great here. And I need to be really clear that I am blessed in this place, in this moment, and this is the place that is for me. So I continued going down I-30, got off of Rosedale, right there on 8th Street. Now this is not the best picture, because I had to take it like last week and go, okay, what pictures are they showing up here? Just to be able to show you. But on 8th Street and Rosedale, there is this big, huge medical building that has this projection. And usually it is a projection of children. And whatever the season it is, during Halloween, there's pumpkins, and they have masks, and they're out in the hay, and there's just this beautiful, during Thanksgiving, it's just this beautiful fall, and then at Christmas time, they're laughing, and they're under the trees, and it is just a beautiful, they switch it all the time. And I would sit there at the light and look at these beautiful children's faces. I'm in joy. How could you not be? This is my touchstone that's telling me that I am guided. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't true. So I'm taking in this moment and knowing that as I travel through my day, as I travel through my life, that each and every moment, I am a divine being moving through a human world. So I have lots of touchstones. One of them is a loblolly tree. Because in Austin, Texas, they don't have these huge trees that go straight up into the air continuously. I've never seen anything like it. It's like, I love loblolly trees. And they come up at different times, you know. It's not there on 8th Street in Rosedale. It just is unexpected. And I love that because then I can just go, oh, the magnificence of this earth reminds me again. It's that touchstone that I know we are divine beings. And there's nothing like looking straight up a tree that was high in the air and seeing the beautiful magnificence of that canopy. Don't you just love doing that? I think my husband, when I go over and hug a tree, he's like, there she goes again. So this is the fun of being a creator in our own lives. You get to choose the touchstones that are in your life. You get to figure out, what is it? Where do I need to have a touchstone to remind me of love? It could be the smile of your grandchild. It could be songs that you actually put in your life. So in a specific time that you're kind of dipping a little emotionally and pull up that song. Perfect. The dogs that wake you up in the morning. You feel that furry face and you go, there it is. The fresh scent of cinnamon or coffee. Tasting an exquisite pecan pie that reminds you of your grandmother. So Brené Brown, I'll give you a little quote from her. There's nothing like her to give you some help. I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right here in front of me, and I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude. So I recently learned of the term glimmer, coming back to that, which essentially is the opposite of the term trigger. Glimmers are those micro moments in your day that help you feel joy, happiness, peace, or gratitude. Once you train your brain to be on the lookout for glimmers, the more these tiny moments will spontaneously appear. I see that is exactly what is happening when I choose to put touchstones in my life. I'm not going through those habitual 60,000 habits or thoughts that are coming through that are connected to habits, but I'm actually making new habits, new ways of seeing the world. I learned to step away from media, news, negative thinking, and the patterns that we typically fill our day with. We have the power, the privilege to change that pattern, to imbue our life with wholeness, joy, vitality, love. We each are creators in our own life. So let's just take a few moments to move inward and begin to reconnect with who we really are. So closing the eyes for just a few moments, right here in this spot. As you feel your feet on the floor, you know where you are, grounded into this earth. And you inhale right in to the heart. Inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the breath get smooth and even. And letting the heart open a little bit more and a little bit more. Feeling it expand. And take a few moments to just travel through your mind, finding maybe a challenge that you have in your life. It might be health, it might be relationship. Where is that little bit of challenge that seems to keep popping up? And just know, this is our humanness. This is our way to learn to expand our divineness in this situation. So as you just take a few moments and look at that, imagine there might be a touchstone that could connect you in some shape, way, or form with this challenge. As you just gently let Spirit guide you to that perfect little place, that perfect touchstone that connects you, that can bring about a gentle connection to love, joy, wholeness, or peace. And it's okay if something doesn't just pop up readily. You've asked the question of Spirit. And so just know that within the next few hours or days, you will be guided to the perfect touchstone that will bring ease and love and blessing, connection to the divine and the Christ Spirit within. And just releasing and letting go and knowing it will be perfect for you. And so it is. And I'll leave you with Reverend Steve's words at the end of his email that's perfectly placed. I am reminded of the touchstone that exists, immovable, unalterable, and always available to each of us. It is the touchstone that is the secret place of the Most High. It is where each of us is called to listen to the beloved's still, small voice. And so it is.
This week, let us look for those touchstones that make us more divine and less human as we remember our prayer of protection. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. See you next week, everybody.